Hey guys, so before getting into chapter 6 in our textbook, we're going to take a minute to review some exponent rules. So today we're going to multiply monomials using the properties of exponents, and we're going to do some simplifying using the multiplication properties. So ignore the 7-1, think of it as exponent rules part 1. Okay, it's not 7-1 in our book, so just ignore that. So a monomial is a number, a variable, or the product of a number and one or more variables with non-negative integer exponents. Okay, it only has one term. That's what you need to focus on. Okay, the prefix mono means one. Okay, so an expression that involves division by a variable, like AB over C, that's not a monomial. Okay, we can't divide by exponents or by variables, and we can't have negative exponents. So a constant is a special type of monomial that's a plain old number. Okay, it's just a real number. So a monomial of 3x is an example of what we call a linear expression because it has an exponent of 1. Okay, everything we've done so far has been with linear functions. Okay, so plain old x makes it linear. Monomial 2x squared, we call it nonlinear because it doesn't have an exponent of 1. And so if we graph something like this, it will not make a straight line. Okay, so let's go through a few and see if they are a monomial or not. Okay, pause the video and try each one, and then I'll go over them here in just a sec. All right, so we got to decide if they're a monomial. A, 10, 10 is a monomial. Okay, it's just a plain old number. Okay, letter B, f plus 24, that is not a monomial. Okay, it has two terms. C, h squared, that is a monomial, it's only one term. And my pen is not working. There we go. Okay, and letter D, J, just one term, so yes, it is a monomial. Okay, so recall that an expression of the form x to the n is called a power, and it represents the result of multiplying x by itself n times. Okay, x is the base, n is the exponent. The word power sometimes can be referred to the exponent as well. Okay, so for example, if I have 3 to the 4th, my base is 3, and my exponent's 4, so that means I take 3 and multiply it by itself 4 times, which is just 81. Okay, so that leads us to our first rule. Okay, we're going to try to find the product of powers. Okay, so when I'm multiplying, we're going to see what happens with the exponents. Okay, so 2 squared times 2 to the 4th. What does that really mean? Well, 2 squared is 2 times 2. Times 2 to the 4th is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. We can rewrite this as 2 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's the same thing as 2 to the 6th. Now let's try another one to see if we can figure out this rule. Okay, 4 cubed. That means 4 times 4 times 4. Okay, 3 of them. Times 4 squared. Well, that's just 2 of them. So altogether, this gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4s. Okay, so 4 to the 5th. So what's going on with our exponents? How do I get from 2 and 4 to 6? 3 to 2 to 5. Well, the rule, if we multiply two powers, we just add their exponents. Okay? So when we're multiplying, we add exponents. Okay? So a couple examples. B cubed times b to the 5th. Just going to add those, gives me b to the 8th. Same thing, g to the 4th, g to the 6th. Add them, g to the 10th. Okay. So let's try one together here. Simplify each expression. 6n cubed times 2n to the 7th. Let's start the coefficients. Okay, 6 and 2. We're multiplying, so what's 6 times 2? That's just 12. Then we move on to our exponents. Okay, bases are the same, so 3 and 7 just gives me n to the 10th. Okay, pause the video. We're only going to try this one and this one. We're not going to worry about the next one, just for the sake of time. Okay, pause the video, try letter B. Okay, letter B, we should be getting 3 because there's no coefficient over here. Look at our p's. Because remember, this has an exponent of 1. We don't always have to write it, but it's there. So p to the 4th. And then we add the t's, 3 and 4 gives me 7. Pause the video, try 2a. Okay, multiply my coefficients. I get 21. Okay, y's, I have 4 and 5, so I have to the 9th power. And what the heck, we'll do this one too. Go ahead and pause the video and try it. Okay, multiply your coefficients. Negative 4 times negative 6 gives me a positive 24. If I look at my r's, remember this one does have an exponent of 1. So 1 plus 5 gives me r to the 6th. Okay, look at my x's. 2 and 2 gives me x to the 4th. Okay, and again, remember this one's not marked, so it has a 1. 3 and 1 gives me t to the 4th. Okay, so next rule, power of a power. Okay, power to a power. What do we do? Well, 3 squared to the 4th. Let's check these rules out. Okay, 3 squared to the 4th. Well, that means I take 3 squared 4 times. There's 3 squared times 3 squared times 3 squared times 3 squared. Okay, so I've got 4 of them. Oh, now we just use the rule we just did. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8. So this gives me 3 to the 8th. Okay, down here, r to the 4th cubed. Well, that means I take r to the 4th 3 times. Okay, so 4, 12, or 4, 8, 12. So r to the 12th. So how did I get from 2 and 4 to 8 and 4 and 3 to 12? Well, we're just going to multiply. Okay, when I have a power to a power, we multiply the exponents. Okay, so b cubed to the 5th, and just multiply gives me b to the 15th. G to the 6th to the 7th gives me multiply g to the 42nd. Okay, so let's do one together. 2 cubed squared to the 4th. You can start inside or outside, it doesn't matter. I usually start on the inside, I think better that way. So I'm going to multiply here. So 3 times 2 gives me 2 to the 6th. Still have it in brackets, raised to the 4th. So I got to multiply one more time. 6 times 4 gives me 2 to the 24th. So letter A. Okay, pause the video and try number 3, please. Okay, so we multiplied. 2 times 2 is 2 to the 4th. And again, raised to the 4th gives me 2 to the 16th. So let's see what happens if I have a product inside raised to a power. Okay, so the power of a product. Well, what does TW cubed mean? That just means TW times TW times TW. Okay, so, well, now we just add those exponents. How many T's do I have? Well, there's 3 of them. I have 3 W's, so that gives me T cubed, W cubed. Okay, next example, 2yz squared cubed means I got to write it 3 times. Okay, we can rearrange them. So I have 2 times 2 times 2. I have y, and z squared, z squared, z squared. So adding all that together, 2 cubed, y cubed, 2, 4, 6, z to the 6. Okay, we don't like 2 cubes, so go ahead and simplify that to 8. Okay, so the way I think of this, okay, here's what the rule says. To find the power of a product, you find the power of each factor and multiply. Well, I like to think of it as distribute. Okay, so don't know what happened. We're going to distribute the exponent. Okay, and everything gets it, including the coefficient. Okay, so when we have the power of a product, we're going to distribute the exponent. All right, so let's look at a problem here. Power of a product. We want to express the area of a circle as a monomial. Okay, so area is equal to pi r squared, where r is your radius. So if I'm looking at my picture, the radius of my circle is 2xy squared. So let's plug that in for r. So area equals pi. Instead of writing r, I'm going to write this whole thing. So 2xy squared, and r is squared. So let's go ahead and simplify this. I'm going to leave the pi alone because it doesn't need anything. It's not inside the parentheses. And we're going to distribute the squared to everything. Okay, so I get 2 squared, x squared, and then power to power, we multiply. So y to the 4th. Go ahead and simplify one more time. 2 squared is the same thing as 4. So I'm going to write it as 4 pi x squared y to the 4th. Okay, so bringing all these rules together, we're now able to simplify monomial expressions. So to simplify a monomial expression, we have to do 3 things. Okay, each variable can only appear once. Okay, so I can't have x's and x's again, only once. Okay, no power to power, and all fractions have to be simplified. So let's look at this example. We have 3xy to the 4th squared times negative 2y squared cubed. So I like to break it down one set of parentheses at a time. Okay, so let's focus here. Okay, so I've got this power outside, so I need to distribute that to everything. Okay, so it gives me 3 squared, x squared, y to the power, we multiply, y to the 8th. Okay, if I keep going, 3 squared, I can turn that to 9, x squared y to the 8th. Okay, that's as far as that can go. So let's focus on the other thing. Okay, so here, oh, I see that power to power. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply those first. So 2 times 3 gives me 6. And now that I've got that, I'll distribute it to everything. Okay, so I get negative 2 to the 6th power, y to the 6th. Okay, so in your calculator, if you type in negative 2 to the 6th, you need to be very careful. Negative 2 needs to be in parentheses. Okay, the calculator follows order of operations, so it will do 2 to the 6th and then make it negative. But we want negative 2 to the 6th. So negative 2 times negative 2, 6 times. Okay, so 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. We should get 64 y to the 6th here. Okay, so now that that's down as far as it can go, I need to take both of these and simplify them together. So I'm going to start with my coefficients. That's 9 times 64. Gives me 576. Okay, I only see x squared. I don't have any x's over here, so I just bring down x squared. And I've got y to the 1st and y to the 6th. So I'm multiplying, so I just add those together, giving me y to the 7th. Okay, and this is my final answer. Wait, pause the video and try this one, please. Okay, I'm going to start here first. I'm going to distribute that power. So I get 1/2 cubed. Power to power we multiply, so a to the 6th, b to the 6th. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do 1/2 cubed. So again, put that in the either use the fraction button or make sure you put it in parentheses. 1/2 cubed turns into 1/8. A to the 6th, b to the 6th. Okay, over here I see a power to a power, so that's going to be negative 4b to the 4th. Now I need to distribute that power. So again, in parentheses, negative 4 to the 4th, b to the 4th. Well, negative 4 to the 4th gives me 256, and I'm going to keep it as b to the 4th. Okay, so now I can go ahead and combine. 1/8 times 256 gives me 32. I don't see any other a, so keep it a to the 6th. B to the 6th, b to the 4th gives me b to the 10th. And that's my final answer. And that's it. Okay. So power to power we multiply. If I'm multiplying, I add my exponents. And if I have a product inside, I'm going to go ahead and distribute the power to everything. Okay, so your homework tonight is from our old textbook. This is not our textbook, okay? So don't go to page 395. It won't make any sense. Okay, I will make sure this is uploaded onto Google Classroom. You're going to do problems 21 through 55 odd. Okay, please make sure if you have any questions, you are asking them. See you guys later.